When we last left our heroes, much had occurred. And I gotta try to get my head back around all the stuff that had occurred.
Jason was drinking umbrella drinks.
Jason was bringing
Yes.
and passing out in
And
overchairs.
passing out in big leather chairs, yeah.
To be followed by events the canonicity of which has yet to be determined.
But I do love the here's what Jason hears after he wakes up.
That was so much fun.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that.
It was so good. Okay, I had. Was it under prep? Yes, it was.
That would be too logical.
Well, I mean, yeah, it would be actually. All right, so we will begin with Concord, who Link says, see if you can do something about moving that Keynome. And Link says, or Concord says, okay. And blips away. And appears kind of hovering in this cavern that's like encrusted with crystals kind of all around, like the inside of a geode except multicolored. Don't know really. Some of the crystals themselves shed light. There's other sources of light in here that are sort of being, it's hard to tell where the sources are coming from because they're being sort of diffused through the crystals. Plus it's picking up your own radiance, Concord. And the minute that you get in there, the intensity of that stuff just quintuples and then increases again exponentially, like it just redoubles and redoubles to this just white intensity. It's not hot, it's not cold, it's almost like being back in space, like the space between stars. But it is intensely shocking. You were going to ask something.
Yeah, I was just saying, so it's like nothing.
It's like the loudest nothing you've ever experienced. The loudest, most intense, most
overwhelming
nothing that you've ever. Would you say overwhelming what?
White noise.
White noise, yeah. And partly this was how you were introduced into it, and sort of the abruptness of it and the energy leakage and all this other kind of stuff. But the feedback is intense. And as a result, I'm going to have you, we're going to lead this thing off with taking a powerful blow. Let's see how horrible this session can go.
Okay. Bad dice don't fail me now.
Yeah, it's really cruel to ask us to,
okay,
try and retrain our dice.
It's not, you're not, don't think of it as retraining anything. Think of it as the GM forgot his D20s and he needs you to roll all the creature attacks for the night.
Yeah, and we hated that too.
I know. That's fair. That's fair. Okay,
Don't
so
let the GM touch your dice.
Yeah. Oh God, you guys were so paranoid about that back in the day. I'm serious. If I couldn't even move them out of the way to like get to figures on the map, it was like they would retire them for months. When you take a powerful blow, roll conditions marked on a 10 plus, choose one. On a 7 to 9, choose one. You lash out verbally, provoke a teammate to foolhardy action, or take advantage of your influence to inflict a condition.
I already provoked him to a foolhardy action, so that's taken care of.
Yeah. You give ground, your opposition gets an opportunity. I can think of some things that happen there. You struggle past the pain and mark 2 conditions. Adam, you were almost hoping for a 6, weren't you?
Man, 6 would have been so nice. Because
6 would have been so easy.
It would have been. No,
You don't. That's a lot of conditions to take all at once.
It is a lot of conditions to take all at once. But I think right now, I'm going to take all the conditions.
Okay. So I'm curious as to know what conditions you take, because you already have.
I am also, so now I am afraid of this space, angry about being here on my own, Guilty for what happened to with
What's her name?
Facet,
Tim?
Facet.
and then insecure from when I had to call for Link's Hope or Link's Help.
Links help. All right. That is a lot. Hopefully you won't have to do that again, but we're going to just see here. Okay, so you are
Let's
struggling.
see how quickly we can break him.
you are struggling, but you're clinging to some. You actually almost you don't know how, I don't know how to best describe this, but it's almost as though Saul kind of grunts with the effort of this. You can sense kind of where this is coming from and where in the room this is originating. You can try to calm it's maybe not the right word. The thing, whatever it is, isn't really sentient, but at the same time, it's not exactly just a cosmic generator either. There's something in there that senses you as sort of an invading something.
Invading.
So
An
you
invading power.
sudden and unexpected arrival in its space, and this thing is old. This has been here long enough, a long time. The crystals are not the Keynome. The crystals, and really a lot of the space that this thing has surrounded itself with, is accreted stuff.
It's the dead skin cells of the Keynome.
Yeah, this has grown up around it, really, even in response to the thing. This thing has been here a long time. Whether or not that means anything about being able to move it or not, but it's certainly the whole place kind of resonates with it. But you can sense kind of where it is and reach out to it and see if you can do something with it if you are so inclined. What say you? I've been listening to, I have to forewarn you, I've been watching a lot of Dragon Riders Race to the Edge today. And one of the guys is voiced by the same dude that does the non-scientist in Big Hero 6. And he talks a bit funny sometimes. And it's unfortunately imprinted itself on my brain. What do you think?
Yeah, let's try to reach out and see what we can do. Leo wanted me to move this thing. Let's see what we can do.
Let's see what we can do. Okay, you might be able. All right. Let's see what we got here. I think this kind of works.
I got one.
Did you get the
one
image? Did you get the
What's
image
that?
up? Did you get the image up?
Oh no! When you attempt to
That's a rather
rewire,
specialized move.
It really is, isn't it? It
Oh.
really is, isn't it? Do you have hang on a second. I didn't even look. What's your superior? Oh my god.
I got one benefit from all this, which is
Yeah.
I activated Game Face last time, so I take +1 to ongoing to do what Leo told me to do.
Which gets you to a 0, but you are also guilty? Yeah. Which is going to affect your superior roll.
Does it?
But wouldn't that have been in the thing?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the conditions that you have affects your superior.
Actually, it affects my provoke and assess.
That's true. Well, I mean, it's up to it is up to you how superior, whether you feel as though the conditions that you currently, I'll leave it up to you. Does the conditions that you feel right now leave you feeling as though the superior that you need for messing with this thing is affected? That is entirely up to you.
Well,
If you
it
feel
would
like,
be guilty, and I don't think guilty is really going
well,
to affect.
yeah, since it's not really in line with guilty, I don't know if the other ones would necessarily mess. If not, it's fine. I don't need you to have a -2 rolling into this thing as you. Oh my God, you guys are already like messing with the background picture.
I'm sorry, and this surprises you? How?
So funny.
All right. Okay, we're gonna do the worst possible thing:
What's the worst possible thing?
energy siphoning.
Okay. Oh my God. All right.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, let's find out. Let's have a superior roll and see how this thing goes.
All right, I'm adding in 3 just to offset the penalty that it's going to put in there because of guilty, and my +1 bonus. So we might have to, like, if it doesn't add in correctly, we might have to do math after the fact.
Okay, so you got your
So-
+1 plus the +2 to counteract the other. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So there should be rolling 0 across the board.
And then we actually get to see. Oh, okay. I'm just going to peer at that for a second.
Well, that is what happened.
That is what.
That is what happened.
Yeah, you got exactly what you were expecting, which is, oh boy. All right. Energy. Okay, energy siphoning.
So
And Keynome resists your tampering and absorbs your. Ooh. Okay. All right. So that's obviously resisting your absorbing your energy in retaliation is bad.
yeah. So Joyce, can we put this into fiction really quick?
Yes, please.
So I think what happened was Adam was like, okay, so this is a whole bunch of energy. We're energy, right? Can you absorb energy? Can we do this? Perhaps. At which point we just try to siphon in a Keynome to work into his whole emotional core that he usually siphons power out of. I'm going to guess that this means that it was not compatible. We tried to hook up AC to DC connection.
A little bit of that, a little bit of this has made the Keynome angry. Yeah, there's a shot I'm thinking of from a recent animated show that I'm not going to name because spoilers, and some of you guys are going to see it soon, where it's like, hey, there's this thing. Can you throw something explosive at it and to shut it down? And yes, I can, boss. And it totally works, but it also turns the thing into a sucking vortex for about the next 20 seconds. So and you initially start to siphon this energy off from sort of like I said, it's soaked into everywhere, and it kind of you start out further out and work your way in towards the central source. And as you're moving in, you realize that your focus is moving in much faster than you'd originally intended, and that it's actually being drawn in and pulled. You hear the first honest sense of panic in Soul's voice at this time. It's like this is I'm retracting my possible. He says it's a sound of a fighter pilot trying to keep a plane out of a dive.
Can we stop it? I don't think so.
Okay. So I mean, sort of bad decision time, but I'm not.
I am all for bad decisions.
All right. Do you want to hideously complicate your own life or the life of everybody else? I guess that's not really our decision, but
Nope. The Adam decision is him.
Of course it is. All right. All right. Um,
Is this the point where the camera spins away for a little bit? Well,
yes. Yeah, we'll spin things out here. Okay. So Concord says, or Soul says, I think I know what we can do. No, I know what we can do. And then we're going to cut away. All right. So upstairs, ground floor, we have a ever increasing mass of Viertovians hitting the ground. It's a big school area, and they are blanketing the thing. The what few Corvus construction forces are still there have like sort of withdrawn towards like the front doors of the school and stuff like that, and are exchanging, sort of what you're now thinking of as sort of small arms fire. Uh, they're shooting and stuff, but the incoming fire is pretty bad. Uh, and they've got like sort of like oh my God, it's finally happened. I make a reference to technology from the Phantom Menace with the intent to actually use it. They have kind of like energy construct shields, like the Gungans. If you know what I'm talking about, does everyone track for that?
Yes.
Yeah, so they can like deploy like I should have said Reinhardt from Overwatch because that's way cooler, but it's that kind of a thing. These are different looking dudes than what you saw at the cemetery. So, more heavily armored. They certainly seem, well, you're seeing the difference between sort of a vanguard assault force,
Light scouting force versus
light scouting force,
main combat
yeah,
troops.
light scouting force.
This is the armor and mechanized infantry.
Yeah, and they're the guys who are also meant to like surround the Dread Queen, as opposed to the guys who are meant to covertly uh, uh, accompany scientists into a location and like set a bomb, and observe. It's a I don't know. In terms of hand-to-hand combat, you're talking Air Force versus Special Forces, so it's just a different thing. So this is looking like they're going to very quickly control the field. You've got, who do we have as, let's list our assets. A Holocaust cloak and a wheelbarrow are not among them, but we've got Link Auto and Numa linked up. We've got A10, Telekinesian, Alloy, Armiger, and Mercury. JLH is en route. There was some delay there where they were absolutely convinced that you guys were pulling them back for another practice thing, until A10 was like, well, I won't say what she said because they wouldn't be able to print it in the comic anyway, but she made it very, very clear this was not some sort of practice thing. Numbnuts. And get your asses back to the school. So they're en route, but they're not quite here yet. Although they are pushing with all haste. What do you do?
Well, Leo's got one question for Mercury, which is, while he's trying to keep these guys busy, you and your family have probably done something crazy before. Here, there's invading troops. What do you think we ought to do?
A mixture of brawl with the minions and then Queen.
You broke up a
That's
little bit
one
there.
of the stories Dad told us.
Mixture of brawling. Go ahead, Bill.
I was just going to say that you broke up a little bit there.
I think it was mixture of brawling with the troops and then trying to distract or engage the queen. Was that in the
basically
okay.
The people knock her down a bit while people who are worried about hitting the ends off the other people.
Okay. Well, Leo's going to go for the queen then.
Okay. So, okay. So so the queen is advancing sort of through her troops with like a vanguard around her, kind of a diamond-shaped vanguard around her. A10's able to give you at least that much. Most of you guys are kind of bunkered down for a second, so you can get a sense of what the heck to do. Okay, so this is gonna be. So Leo's gonna try and distract the queen, and I might do this as one big roll with maybe Harry helping. Or Link helping. I guess it's kind of either or. We can do two separate things. It's fine either way. Oh wait.
Well, I linked the tactical suggestions from the forums. I certainly have stuff that A10's crew could go and meaningfully do if that helps.
No, yeah. I mean, totally makes sense. I'm just looking at. Oh, that's not terrible. Okay. Okay. So I have a special move for assaulting all the troops. And because of the way the Dread Queen is set up at this point in time, before really anything else can happen, you really have to figure out some sort of weakness because she is not functionally accessible with a directly engage. Like,
oh yeah, going through the guards is part of getting to the queen.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of want to have Leo's part be an assess. Does that make sense, or do you want to do the directly engage and then let that give you the rights to the assess?
I'm down with the assess.
Okay, let's just roll it that way. Now, Mercury, you're kind of organizing everybody else, and there's a special move for that, which I will move. Actually, we'll have Link do the assess first. So Link's actually, I take that back.
Oh, hey, did we do our team moves already to go into battle, or?
Can I wait until we get our backup from the other verse?
Yeah.
I think there aren't quite. I mean, there's only two of you here. Well, that's not true, but there's two PCs here. Yeah, let's wait on that because we do have a fair amount of team, and there's going to be more. Is there supposed to be? Did I forget? Should there be a team that just shows up because the game started, though? Just in case.
There is one at the beginning of the session.
Okay, so let me just. I forgot to do that, so let me do that one. Okay, so and Harry can be helped by Link because you guys are all wading in to fight anyway. So that's not. I mean, helping can happen, and the NPCs can help. I mean, I don't know. Probably that group could help. I think maybe collectively or something. I don't know. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm at a 9. Is it legit to use Harry's commentary as team to boost that up, James? Or is that okay?
Yeah. I think it's just fine for me.
Yeah, I'm all good with that.
All right, so get you up to a 10 on the assess. Okie dokie. All right, I'll get rid of the team here in a second. All right. You start figuring out your questions. So Link,
I know immediately, but go ahead.
Go ahead. All right, so I'm gonna have you tell me what it looks like as you're trying to make your way through here, engaging the guards, all that kind of stuff. And we're not gonna worry about just asking the questions just yet because I want to do Harry's role also.
Okay. So basically, when we're fighting large numbers, we want to fight separated. So Leo, Arya, and Otto are going to split up. Otto's going to turn on his playlist. So there's heavy 80s hard rock playing here. King of the Road is playing, and Otto will let these troops know that the King of the Road says you move too slow. So there's a car running over people, and there's these two battle-suited figures kind of picking up the slack behind him.
Nice. So you're kind of just it's
Actually, no, I got even one better.
Go.
Have you ever seen someone like wakeboarding or like on a board on a boat?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've actually seen someone do that on top of Bantha.
No.
Yeah, so we're basically going to get behind Otto, and he's going to trail us behind him, and we're just going to plow through these guys like that.
Nice. I'm my first thing that reminded me of was Theoden's charge out of the Hornburg out into Helm's Deep, with the people piling off on either side, trying to get to the Vanguard. Okay, so you're plowing through there, doing what damage you can, but your focus is primarily on the Vanguard, and these guys seem to be not getting out of the way exactly, but worrying about the Vanguard is a little bit non-relevant. All right, so this is, I want to reemphasize that this is a pretty brutal situation in terms of the combat. So with that said, there is no really good result move, but in my defense, I got it straight out of the book, so I don't feel too bad about it. When you take on an army of soldiers, roll danger. And we'll just go from there. So let's have Harry do his danger roll, and we can see how much help he needs or anything like that. Can Otto drive like he stole it if he actually is it?
This is a goddamn brutal move.
It is. It really, really is. But I looked at it and I was like, yes, it is actually that bad initially. Until something changes, it's rough, and these guys are rough. So
This is why
Is
you
that when
don't
I'm
fight an army.
rolling?
yeah, Harry is rolling, and then we'll see. Leo can help, and theoretically, like A10's group can help. I would think it's probably. I think that makes the most sense. If it's necessary. Okay, so we need to get up to a 7.
I'm explicitly doing support on troops, so I'm where the combo here is going to kick in for team.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. I have no problems with that whatsoever. But it is nasty. We are going to. Okay. Ugh. All right, so we'll bump that up to a 7. On a 7 to 9, choose one. You escape the fight with only a few scratches and some trauma. Mark 1 condition instead of 3. Or you win the fight definitively and seize prisoners. Don't worry about the Kasseri thing. I blanked that out. Weapons and equipment. That'll be something that happens further down. So you'll make a serious dent into them, but you're going to be taking a bunch of conditions. You minimize the collateral damage to the area, we'll say city, and those around you. And this is a residential area. So that's probably, because the thing is you guys are going, the return fire is literally going to be withering. So it's kind of the original Avengers movie of trying to maintain the, contain the damage down to a few city blocks, as opposed to, the Superman thing where he destroyed 3 cities in one fight on either side of the planet because he's an idiot. So, Harry, what does that look? When you're the one that's given the orders for this part of it, what do you tell them to prioritize?
Prioritize full safety.
Okay, exactly. Keep them pinned down to a few city blocks. A nice accompanying picture for Bill. Okay, so what this looks like is on a miss, you lose the fight and wake up on the prison ship. Yikes.
Yeah, that makes Jason and my job a lot harder.
Yeah. Okay.
Or more straightforward, as the case may be.
Okay. So, Link, you do everything you can, and it does help, but there's only so much that can be done. And when you realize it's only a few steps into the fight, Harry, before you quickly realize that the stuff that's missing you is going to be tearing the holy hell out of the, 30-year-old ranch houses around the area. And so you're like, we got to draw their fire, and we need to draw it as much away as you can. So that means you kind of getting into sort of the central area, like closer to the school, so they're firing inward. Then they got to check their fire more. You need the flyers to draw fire up, because these energy weapons you don't have to worry about dry fires coming back down. Stuff like that. It is incredibly rough. And Armiger is still standing after about the first. You and Armiger are still standing after the first 10, 15 seconds. We didn't say they're completely out, but Telekinesion tried to get up high enough and then like basically erect your basic Green Lantern kind of a shield in terms of like sort of a TK shield to handle it. And just as soon as it's like he gave them a big target to shoot at, and the fire that he was already kind of attracting just massively intensified. Copy paste the scene with all the bullets coming in at Wonder Woman in the last movie, and it's kind of like that. And he simply couldn't hold it until it finally sort of broke down the shield and sort of blasted him backward. A10 was sort of coming down and kind of cannonballing in the superhero sense, not the actual cannonball sense, like through crowds and stuff, and just blasting down through it. But she's coming back up, trailing scorch marks and stuff every time that she's come through there. Bloody nose, scratches on the face, damaged costume, that kind of thing, as she's tearing down through here. And eventually she comes around for a turn, and a heavier blast like catches her, and you don't know if she took her out, but you hear her just shout over the mic, and she kind of does this parabolic arc, trailing smoke into the neighborhood. You're not sure exactly what happens to Ally. She's amongst the fight and stuff, and sort of leaping around inside of the, down amongst the infantry and stuff, keeping things busy. But she just almost vanishes from view. You don't know exactly what happened to her. Armiger's got his sword up, and he's got a bear patch around him, but he's also got no room to maneuver. Everything is just basically focused on him for this. And then there's you. So based on that, what conditions do you take? Because you take 3. Now, if you want, I will give you this choice. You can hand one off to Telekinesion. You can hand one off to A10, but that's going to make their recovery a lot less likely. Their immediate recovery. They're not going to be coming back into this fight, and they're going to be carrying stuff longer. Or you can take all of this mentally on yourself. So it's do you want to shunt some off?
I'll join the condition party.
Belly up to the bar, boys.
There's enough for everybody.
There are enough for everybody.
Plenty of conditions to go around.
So what conditions are currently rocking Harry's mind as he's watching his friends and allies take all these hits and go up against these nigh impossible odds?
And
I didn't get the first part. All I got was I picked you up at the word "and."
hopeless.
Hopeless? All right. I like that.
T.
Hopeless, guilty, angry. Go with angry.
I was looking at angry.
Release your hate.
To the dark
Yes.
side.
If only. Angry, guilty, and hopeless. All right. I like how you leave your ability to defend open.
Yep.
That's good. I mean, technically also your ability to punch, but that is neither here nor there. Okay, I am going to send a few messages around. Yep. No, there is. Yes, Bill, to answer your question.
Thanks.
All right, so.
And I still got my assess questions waiting too.
Yep. I have to send a few messages to, just a couple of messages here. Actually.
I'm trying to find the right volume on the playlist.
So you have it kind of going in the background. The first
Oh, yeah.
song, we were listening to the playlist on the drive down to the swim meet this weekend, and the first song played for about 10 seconds to kill. It's like, oh my god, I can totally see everybody walking into the fight in slow motion. So good. Anyway, all right. So I don't want to just jump Jason out of. We can, okay, so let me ask this in terms of framing. We can jump right to the message you guys are about to get, or we can have you guys do your superior rolls to see how much stuff you managed to get done. We can either do the superior roll to see how much stuff you guys took care of now, or we can like flashback to that stuff after the meat grinder.
I don't know that any of it's going to impact this particular battle, so we should probably, I would probably continue with the battle, and we can superior back to the flashback.
That sounds good. In the interest of pacing, I will do that. All right. So I will eventually read all these things out here, but let me see. Knave. Get that done. Oh, damn it. That didn't work. That's weird. All right, everybody just disregard that second message because that didn't do what I was supposed to do at all. I mean, it doesn't really matter, especially, but Dave.
And I'm obliged to note, since I got like privileges here in the masks room to be able to do things, that I'm also seeing whispers that are going to the GM, but I'm studiously ignoring them.
That's fine. Yeah, that's the downside to that, and
I know.
Bill has sort of.
It was easier for me just to be not GM'd at the start, and I'm happier that way.
Oh, Jesus, this is terrible. All right. There we go. We're gonna go like that, and do that. I don't honestly know if this is gonna work or not, because it doesn't actually seem like it's. There we go, it did. All right, so that's, yep. Dave, so you get this, I don't know that you would have, yeah, you would have seen this, but you get the moment of truth image of Concord sort of hanging in the air in front of you. Okay.
Okay.
And you get that.
Okay.
All right, and then that.
Okay. Jason spits out his Cheerios. or CPOs or whatever they call them over there.
That's terrible. All right, and I gotta do this one with Mario. I got that first bit. Oh, that didn't. Hang on. I hate this thing so much sometimes. Stupid typing thing. All right. Get that. There we go. That's for Margie. And then this next one. That and that. For part. Oh, really? So much hate. I get the thing all typed out, and then it's like, you haven't identified who you want to send this message to. We do not recognize, and then in quotes around it, like it's the name, is every single word that you just typed. All right, there's that.
Oh.
There we go. All right, that's Margie. And Dave, about the same time that you're done spitting out CPOs and blinking hastily and standing to your feet and accessing comms, Summers on comms, saying something like, Jason, Charlotte, I just got a message, kind of.
Yes, me too. We need to get home ASAP.
Meet me in the Keynome room.
Meet me in the Keynome room.
I have a horrible idea.
Oh, good.
I have an idea that just might kill me.
Promises.
Ooh, she got bitter when she summoned up the army of the dead.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're back to Link and your questions, sir. Go ahead.
All right, so we've pushed up to a 10, so I got 2 questions. I am reasonably sure I know who here is the greatest danger.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in what here is in the greatest danger, which is the 3rd question. And then 5th, how can we best end this quickly?
What is in the greatest danger? If there is a Keynome here, and based on everything else that you know about what the Viertovians have been up to, and what Jason told you about how the Keynomes featured into the original sort of Tesseract from Hell attempt. Actually, hang on. You're figuring this out as you're fighting and trying to think about what they're doing here, and obviously they're here for the Keynome, and what could they be doing with the Keynome? And you have Area, call up you ask her to pull up that map that they sent out of the Viertovian appearance. And for those who need that reminder, I will grab that real quick because I want to. Actually, it might be on one of these screens, but I'm not going to try and find it right now. Wait, yeah, maybe I do want to find it. I think it was. Let me just look for it real quick. No, wasn't there. All right, well, it's fine. I'll go back to where everybody was and drop it in there. All right, so we had the.
We had what?
I'm sorry, I'm looking and I'm trying to look and talk at the same time, and that's terrible. All right. We had this image that came through when Viertovia first appeared. And you quick pull that back up on your HUD. You don't even really need to pull Numa on that. And then you do a couple, like an eyeball tracking thing really quick and shoot that back out to Numa and Otto and said, well, I know what they're doing, or at least I know what they think they're doing. And based on your little eyeball, basically use your eyeball tracking like a mouse to draw a couple of quick lines.
Yeah. Look at that.
So the thing in the greatest danger here is the Keynome. They apparently think that the fact that, I mean, if DC is where that other one was, and if there's one in Iceland / Viertovia, which there would have to have been for what they pulled off, it was just a matter of figuring out how far away DC was from where you guys are right now, and drawing a line, and that brings you to a nice, perfect point on the peaks of a mountain I can't pronounce. Starts with an S. Snæfellsjökull.
Bless you.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, so that is definitely what's
what they have in mind.
Yeah, they're either going to get it or they're going to do something down there, activate something, create some sort of wacky ley line, magical, mystical, technological Bermuda Triangle right through the heartland of the East Coast, something.
Does this lead to any immediate conclusion other than what I already did, which is dispatch Concord down there? Because I have no idea how to get down there otherwise.
I might need to get back to you on that.
But if we do area denial here, like I don't see anything else flying in. I don't see like another group of flyers like descending into the river or something like that.
Yeah, the League is engaging the Viertovian forces somewhere on Viertovia, apparently. You had heard between DC, the coastline closest to between where Viertovia showed up and DC, like along Viertovia, which would actually put them right there. So it's possible they're fighting right there already. You might send a message, I guess, to the League if you have the capacity to do that, to say you need to get down into the mountain and stop anything that they're trying to do down there, because the fight up top is probably a distraction to keep you away from whatever they're doing inside wherever this thing is at. Because according to the stuff from Achilles' Chin, it was down underneath there, underneath the mountain, that he had found this. He realized that they had put in this seed or whatever. It's heavily defended, according to him. But I mean, you could send that word, and that would be something that they might not already be doing, because they might just be, fighting dudes on the slopes of the mountain or something.
Okay. Well, I'm going to play influence judo then. I'm going to ask. I'm not going to relay it myself. I'm going to ask Stingray to do it.
Got it. Perfect.
Like, assuming he's here or coming, I just be like, I got some intel you need to pass to your people.
He's
it.
30 seconds out tops, but he can do this while he goes, I don't understand any of this, so I am literally going to say exactly what you just said, and then he cuts Link before he cuts the audio before
you can make him say anything more.
Yeah, anything else. And what was the other question?
How do we best end this quickly?
Everybody's favorite question.
I, as a player, suspect, given what we've heard, that because the Viertovians are personally loyal to the Dread Queen, that breaking her will break them.
Yeah.
But I, as a character, may not realize that.
They are, yeah. From what you've seen so far, and coming up against the actual sort of Praetorian guard around her, these guys are, every single one of them, how should I mean, where can I put this on? C-list superheroes in terms of just what they're able to do. I mean, if you take like those squads that are designed to take out supers that the like special forces units have, and like some of the elite police forces have and stuff like that, they're like those guys. But these guys are absolutely ride or die for her. So
what I'm hearing is I'm going to need to step up my game in a big way.
If she withdraws, and the thing is, you're doing the math on this. You are randomly calculating isosceles triangles over the entire eastern seaboard. You are calculating all the angles. You are in a very clear headspace for this kind of stuff, and you're doing the math on this. The three of you alone you can get to her, but you don't even know what you'd be able to do at this point because you don't even have the measure of her necessarily yet. You need everybody. You need everybody back on their feet and everybody coordinated. And the thing with Harry going after everybody, that takes out some people, but if they will literally keep dumping people out of the carrier forever or until the carrier is empty, you've got to push her back, and that means everybody on the quarterback.
Okay. Well, Link personally trusts Mercury to handle the rest of the battle. I think he's doing okay. So he's not going to be like shouting orders, but if he sees opportunities like that, he'll be like, "Hey, maybe we could do this thing."
Okay.
So as those come up, then I'll try to do that.
And while
but it sounds like we have maybe some other people coming in pretty soon. So
yeah.
Let's see where that goes.
Okay. And I got a thing as you're getting this last thing. As you're sort of doing this and trying to figure out what you're going to be able to do, and you're starting to play the angles and figure this stuff out, you get, oh, really? God bless it. Grumble, mumble, frumble. First the thing, then the thing. There we go. All right, you get a Concord construct in your face. Oops, oops. Easy there. All right. So you've got that to also chew on. And Harry. What was that, Bill?
God damn it.
James.
You sent a boy to do a superhero's job. What did you expect?
Well, I mean, to be fair, you're ridiculously powerful.
You knew this job was dangerous when you took it. Oh, wait, you didn't volunteer.
Well, he did volunteer, sort of. Where's Harry? Ooh, this was a good one. I was particularly proud of this one. Here comes Harry. So, I really like the Warren Ellis run after Civil War. That can't possibly be a good lead into whatever's going to come next. There's just absolutely no way that looks good afterwards. All right. So, okay, and I gotta send one more. I guess I gotta send a thing to Mike too. All right. Gotta bring up to speed. I'm gonna move this over here. Oh, I'm sorry. Your circles are for naught, people. Your Illuminati circles are for naught.
It's a cover up.
It is. It is. They all just disappeared. It's crazy. Okay. So. So, yes, Mercury, you are having that thought in the middle of the fight. Charlotte, what do you do? Or did she?
Charlotte has just stepped away to powder her
okay. All right.
metaphysical nose.
James, in that case, Jason, what do you do? Because if you So you've got Charlotte.
Got Charlotte. Got the Keynome. We need to get back home.
Right. And you
Are
have
you solving? Hold on a sec. Are you solving? She's having problems.
hearing.
She's having technical problems hearing. She's reconnecting. I heard a bloomp. Can you hear me now? She still can't hear me.
Great.
I can't hear her.
There we go.
Now I can hear you.
Magic.
My batteries on my headset wore out, so I had to come plug myself in.
Okay. Oh, I see. I understand that. It happens to me. Okay.
So I should, in theory, I mean, short of, I know I can create a portal back to wherever I need to go. However, if I can possibly do this, drawing on both the reality shaping powers of the Keynome and the fact that Charlotte has a tie between both worlds,
yes,
in a way that doesn't cause me to die a little bit more, that would be awfully keen.
That would be awfully keen. The downside is, because if you had the Quill compound or really a regular city power grid or something, you could just use that. Using the Keynome, you do need to roll. That horrifying thing. That horrifying. Let me pull that one back up.
That horrifying roll.
That horrifying
Once again.
move.
No, wait a second. This particular Keynome does still have all that equipment tied to it to generate power.
If you really want to, I will give you a +1 on it. Because of all the stuff.
Of course, then he'll increase the likelihood that you'll destroy all the stuff in the process.
I don't know about that. I mean...
yeah, you do.
Well, I mean...
Never get involved in a land war in ice.
Well, let me put it... you know what? I'll give... I'm going to give you a terrible choice because that seems to be how things are going today. Here, let's get that back out here where we can make use of it.
Do not choose to siphon power from the Keynome.
Well, that's what he's aiming for now. So here's how it works, Dave.
Before I do that, I should probably look and see where my superior is right now.
No. Gate.
The owner's manual on this.
Yeah, gate would be good. Well, siphoning power would work too because he can do all the rest. He's got a move of his own that lets him, if he can just get enough power. So, Dave, you got two choices because we know what happened the first time you just sort of peremptorily did a gate and it browned out half of Halcyon City for a spell.
Which in this case would be the entire eastern seaboard because of...
Right. So roll the dice, take your chances, or probably blow every fuse in Federal City on your way out the door. But you don't have to roll. You can just do it.
No, I can't do that.
I mean, they'd probably be able to limp themselves back into position in a couple of...
decades.
No, months. You'd leave them in a pretty bad way for a couple of months.
Jason, are you bringing Pretty Penny?
Yeah.
Well, that's yeah. I definitely want to grab. Thank you.
You hadn't mentioned it.
We know you want to grab her, but are you bringing her?
Thank you.
Yeah, I start to grab her by the wrist and pull my hand back quickly and say, "Come with me if you want to ride home."
So close to the right quote.
Yeah.
She actually says that. Why the sudden urgency?
There's some sort of trouble, and I'll bet you we could use your help.
Okay. I am weirdly down with helping, she says, very concerned, crease in the middle of her forehead. I want her.
Who's influencing me now?
I don't know who's watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine on this channel, but man, Rosa would be perfect for Alicia, just 10 years younger. Anyway, I guess not, but man, her attitude would be just about right. Anyway, yeah. And you get down to and she's kind of the one who sort of sums up some of this stuff because she's looking at it and she goes, well, you can try to lick that particular frozen pole, or you can just blow every fuse in Federal City and probably get enough juice for it. And you don't you won't.
The people here have suffered enough for.
I guess there is a third option. The
What's
third
happened?
option would be take a doom point and you can just do it. That would be.
That trick never works.
That would
Oh,
be.
it's worked far too often. That's
that would
the
be
problem.
that would be basically you use that's the don't.
That's using 25% of my life. Yeah, we are down to that, kids.
We have the heart gauge for a reason.
I'm going to.
Not Leo's
gonna
heart
try to-
gauge. I mean the heart line on like Contra. We've come back to the Contra video game after all this time.
I'm going to go ahead and try to draw on a Keynome to power this gate.
Okay. Charlotte is there.
And use Charlotte's connection between worlds to avoid having to actually doom point my way through with the nanobots.
All right. So it basically comes down to the roll. What's your
And what-
superior sitting at right now?
-1.
Are you sure about this? I'm just saying.
It worked out great for me.
Did it? I'm just
I'm
saying,
feeling
man.
much better.
I mean,
Let me take a look at that.
did
roll
you
again,
lock
or
one
the,
of your?
thing again.
You didn't lock one of your stats.
Yeah,
did you?
I locked Savior.
All right,
I
it's
locked
not,
Savior.
It's not checked. I'll check it.
It isn't? I'm
No,
sorry.
Now
Yes.
now it's locked.
Thank you.
I mean, somebody
So
right.
all I need is a 7 or better, right? And you indicate I can get a +1 for
Well, let's see.
for all
Let me look at this
for the-
move here. Yeah, that +1 gets you to a 0, which is exactly what Concord rolled. It was a flat 0.
I'm sorry, I missed that last.
So yeah, the +1 gets you up to a flat 0 on your roll, which is exactly what Concord rolled. I mean,
But you could roll boxcars.
Right. I could
Yeah,
roll box cards.
you could roll boxcars.
I
Charlotte's
could
there
save
to
the
help.
world in a single roll, right?
Yep.
No.
Charlotte's here to
Uh,
help, and Numa's.
That's true.
And Summer's here to help.
I've got some team.
You've got some
I've
team.
got some team.
Summer's here to help. Charlotte's here to
Why
help.
can't I just bring everybody through?
You're not. There's no dead spot. So
Okay,
to do it with your unleash your powers thing,
Yeah, I would make some wounds.
I mean, you theoretically could with your do a special thing. Do an impossible thing. That would be another way to do it. So there's that. That relies on your
Okay.
freak, which I don't know what status we're at on freak at this point in time.
+2.
All right. So that's
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and go for it because with my team
Jason
behind
is
me, what could go
suicidal.
wrong?
Is Jason suicidal? we keep dancing around that. In fact, Dave's not so much dancing as like doing some sort of jig on top of the dead body.
It's sort of river dance sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean you're.
Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna indicate it. I'm gonna indicate a 1 for the situational bonus penalty.
All right. We'll see where we are. I haven't
Oh,
looked.
for fuck's sake! Excuse me.
Oh my god.
All the team in the pool will get you there. Okay, and you have, I think, enough NPCs that you could probably swing it.
Maybe. Do you? I don't think you do.
I need to get to 7,
Yeah. He doesn't have.
and I don't.
Oh, no.
I've only got 3 friends there.
You have an entire NPC population who thinks you're the son of Quill, and is giving you emotional support.
I mean,
Except for 3 particularly frustrated young ladies. But yes,
yeah. And they all have different reasons why they're just terribly, terribly disappointed in you.
or terrified, one or the other.
So, I mean, certainly Alicia can help. Certainly Ghost Girl can help. The problem is with Ghost Girl is it's unleash your powers, but she's at a -2 because she's hopeless. So it's actually the same exact freaking rule for her as it is for you. It's flat 0. So it's not good.
Did we get any celebration from the end of the last one or not?
I mean, yes, very
we
likely.
should have.
You certainly could have. We're retconning a lot of stuff into place to make that all work as a thing. And Dave in this role is not. I mean, we can certainly do it with team, and there's enough people here. With all the stuff that's happening and stuff like that, it's very easy to put Rusty down there, and or hell, and this is awkward, even Byron.
Yeah, that just adds to your nice guilt pool.
I'll take that condition.
Okay. Okay. I just have to see what images.
I feel like I need to see these images. Oh no.
That picture for Byron is. Oh no. I mean, oh, okay. All right. All right. So. Yeah. Okay. You're trying to get all this stuff to go.
And on the playlist, playing now is Through the Fires and Flames.
Charlotte's trying to sort of you're routing the stuff, and Charlotte's trying to picture that passage without tearing a hole through the whole interstitial membrane kind of thing. Alicia's working the machinery and swearing about cobbled together janky pieces of shit.
Can't argue with her there.
No, you two are basically doing the TARDIS is crashing dance around the center pillar of this thing, with sparks flying everywhere and stuff like that.
There's got to be major pyrotechnics going.
Major pyrotechnics. And in rushes Byron and Rusty. And he doesn't even really he doesn't stop to talk or anything like that. He just runs over and yells what do I do? Because the thing is, he built this thing, but he doesn't necessarily understand how any of it goes together at this point. What he shouts is, what are we doing? Not what are you doing?
Oh, that's progress.
What are we doing?
Trying to get home.
When are we going?
And he's looking at he's looking at that, you've kind of got the nascent structure for the portal up, and you've got the power theoretically routed that way, and he's he's trying to do long. It looks like me trying to do long division in my head for a second, and he runs around to the other side, starts flipping switches and stuff like that, and basically starts shutting down large sections of the apparatus, the turbines, a bunch of this other stuff. The upside is he's not probably going to wipe out the power permanently or for long stretches of time, but he is shutting it down now. With about 1/3 as much hardware, we got a lot of breathing. With about 1/3 as much hardware to actually work with or deal with, you can figure out the rest of what needs to happen, because he's basically he simplifies the equation you have to solve by about a order of 100. And from there, you guys sort of put the thing together. And Charlotte actually, how do you interact with this black wiry kind of gate? You've seen Alicia put one up. Now you're seeing Jason kind of erect one. How do you interact with this thing to because you're aiming it? really.
Well, we did that last time. Where we did a possession.
Right. It's going to feel like that without you actually having to like there. It's much more effortless because you're not forcing it. You're just kind of guiding it. So, given what you've been told in the message and that sort of thing, where like
Yeah, got it.
where do you what do you do? What like just picture your friends
Okay.
and kind of focus on that, or what do you do? Or does it feel more like when you just sort of shadow walk to them? Is it more like that kind of a thing? Because it's going to be a weird hybrid kind of experience. It's not going to be just like Jason's normal portals because of your added influence interface.
Is that given your message, my reaction would be to go to Adam, which is probably not what we do want to do at this point. Because I'm not sure that Keynome to Keynome is really going to be a very good idea.
That's probably fantastic.
Drive a hole through the universe, Keynome. No, I don't think that's what we want to do. So
that may actually do what actually do what they want you to do.
Yeah. Okay, Jason, we need to focus on we need to focus on where we want to go. So let's pick, we need to pick one person to focus on.
Summer says Leo, like it's the most obvious answer in the world.
Do it.
All right, everybody hold hands, or I touch everybody, or do something like that, and make a connection to the device.
You have to know Alicia's like, who the hell is Leo?
Well, Summer can make a projection of him. Summer, make a picture for us to focus on.
And honestly, she's going to put her shoulder on Jason and just go from there anyway.
And actually, I mean, yeah.
So.
And I will look over at Dad and say, thanks.
Ooh. That's kind of a big step.
Yep.
Well, as big a step as you're going to get a chance to make, because here we are going through a gate. All right. So,
Krakathoom.
Weirdly silent as you go through this thing, because it is very much it's a combination of the portal, but also just the weird kind of, it's somewhere between like this, walking through a graveyard in autumn kind of feeling and going through this weird, almost like wet, dank cave and walking through a library, like an old library. It's that kind of a feel that Charlotte's power kind of lends to this as it goes through. So it's definitely different, but still, you could see if you just had a much more reliable power supply, being able to do this, this would work. This could work on the regular if you could just figure out some more reliable way. If you didn't have to do it in 10 seconds or less. You guys step out into.
I've actually got something if you're willing.
Oh yes. By all means. You guys should always feel like you can jump in for this.
You know how they say, like, head towards the light, and there's that tunnel of light that people say, is either like the next journey of your life or the ending of life. There's that tunnel of light, but there's two lights. And as you come out, it turns out it's a car. Coming at you very fast.
Racing toward you? Like the car racing toward you?
Yep.
Nice. So you step out into pure chaos, and actually, like, the car is like, you guys step through and the car is racing straight at you, and Otto actually shifts into his humanoid form and kind of does this sort of weird stumbling kind of over the high bar jump kind of leap over you guys, rolls once and then goes back into the car, and he's going over, he's like, welcome to the party, guys. And it is just pure, like, middle of the battlefield mayhem. Alicia's already got guns out and is like, I'm assuming we shoot the numerous bad guys, yeah?
Yes. Protect our people, protect innocents, shoot the bad guys.
That is the weirdest order I have ever had to deal with, and she's already like gun-fooing her way.
That says a lot, given your dad.
Yeah. Protect our people, protect the innocents, kill the bad guys, stop the bad guys, shoot the bad guys.
Protect our people was probably like under the list of suggestions at the bottom.
Jason prioritized things slightly differently. All right, so,
like if Leo sees these guys, he's gonna be like, Adam needs help.
maybe.
And then we'll just get back to fighting.
So,
Yeah.
actually, let me just, I need to send a quick thing over to Concord needs help. Let me see. Up. My daughter, I just have to share, although she completely supports Aria and Leo, every time it's like, we have to help Concord, her little shipping heart just grows 3 sizes.
It's a phase.
KK and Concord sitting in a tree.
No, not that kind of.
I know. I'm just making my own rebuttal.
Okay. Has anybody not seen Black Panther? Has everyone seen it? Are we all good?
Yes.
All right. My daughter wasn't sure. She wasn't that excited. She wasn't so excited. Wait.
Yeah,
Has somebody not seen it?
I haven't
Yes,
seen
I
it.
have.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. If you haven't seen it, then I
Oh
won't say
wait,
it.
never mind.
Mike, I sent you messages.
Yes,
you
I
responded.
responded to those.
Okay. Are you still
Trust me, I have ways to do that depending on what happened.
Okay. Well then, Saul says to you, I can handle this if we do 100% merge. You'll have the capacity to deal with this and control the energy flow here. But once I do this, you're going to have to handle the rest of it, whatever you decide you want to do with this thing. You'll notice in that move list for the Keynome, moving it's not on the list of rewiring it. So you just have to figure out how you're going to do that. So, Adam?
Yes. Adam's probably like, but what's going to happen to you? And that's kind of like, Saul probably is like, don't,
We can.
This is that part where he's like, no, don't worry about this. Just, this is what you need to do in order to accomplish your mission.
What he'll say is the only other way that we can deal with this is if we vent all of the excess energy straight up and out or away. If it's up, it's likely going to annihilate a good portion of the school and whoever's up there. And you actually, I don't know, he wouldn't make that reference. As much as I would like to have him make a Yavin 4 reference, he's not going to do that, just to, for that moment of humanization. But he's not going to make it, I shouldn't say Yavin 4. He's not going to make an Alderaan reference. There are, what happens to you is his response is there will be downsides to this solution, but we have to do something, and you need to decide now. It's either out or in, and I know how to do in, and out is going to be out of our control.
Then he's gonna go with it.
Okay. You can do all of this. You've always been able to do all of this. That's
unlocking safeties now.
Yeah, this is releasing restraints that Saul didn't have names for.
This isn't a thing that anyone in the Concordance likes to admit can happen, but you can do this. They've never met you, and they're going to realize what they were wrong about. They will be coming.
That is not a good. Yeah, that's not great.
Okay.
Foreshadowing there.
Hang on for just 1 second. My wife finally got home. And I'm back. That was a long drive back from the airport. Weather's pretty bad. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she just got down like an hour and a half ago. All right. So, yeah, you turn into actually very much. It's so funny. It's so nice to have listened to the older messages because it's kind of like that whole thing with you floating in midair and light coming out of your eyes and your mouth and everything, like you did when you first detected the truth of the world.
This is in a lot of ways. This is him shedding a skin too.
Peeling back on the lights and all that other kind of stuff.
I have art for that.
You have art for that?
I have art for that.
Is it that Sailor Moon transition? I want to see that again. No, I'm kidding.
It is not that.
Yes, okay, awesome. Do you have art for it? Do you want to put up, or did you make art for this? Is it waiting here?
I dropped it over into the Discord because I can't drop it directly into the thing.
It's not the one with the.
No, it's not.
It's not. Okay. Well then, I'm just gonna drag that. Maybe I can put it over there. No, hang on.
It should be a 2x2 square in Discord or in Roll20, so it shouldn't take up like half the thing.
Yeah, I know. I got to figure out how to get the image. I don't think I can save it.
If you click on it and it says it's open original.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. You named it Boom Headshot?
That is in case it was used for something else.
I love my players so much. All right.
I mean, I showed you the other one earlier too. I was prepared for a lot of stuff. So I made multi-purpose stuff.
So that's all right. So that happens. Yikes. All right. And okay. You probably have a lot of complicated stuff that you need to do. Do you have a playbook picked and you got it worked out, and because we're going to have to probably update all the online stuff, but
because Joyce, here's what I'm going to do.
Okay. We had, just so you guys know, 5 options that we had, we had only managed to narrow things down to 5 different playbook options. So.
Oh man, where was the host whenever I started playing?
The host?
Yeah. It would have been so good for this,
it
but now.
It would have been scary. But anyway, all right.
Oh yeah, scary as all get out.
So what did we pick?
So I'm going to use my advance to switch over to the Nova.
Okay. All right. That's what I figured. That's what I thought would happen. But.
And then we're going to burn.
Oh, you've got 5. You got 4 conditions right now. Okay.
And I have a +1 ongoing. I literally can't fail at this one.
Oh my god. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So roll your conditions +1.
Oh dear.
Okay. All right. All right, so I haven't looked at the burn thing for a while. So what's that do? Does it give you 3 burn?
Yeah, I get 3. I get 3 I hold 3 burn.
Okay, and you've got your moves and stuff figured
Mm-hmm.
out for the initial thing. All right.
Yep. So my question is, can I use 1 burn to snatch the Keynome?
Can you read me snatch?
Spend 1 burn to use your powers to seize any one object, up to the size of a person.
Yes, you can encase it in your power. Yes. You don't know whether that's a good idea or a bad idea, and nobody...
He said move. So...
Yes. And well, yeah. I mean, you're not getting any signal down here certainly, and Saul's not answering, so you're doing what you think is the best idea. So you can snatch it.
All
yes, right. You've got this thing. It's somewhere between it's a geode. It's a incredibly high tech, like EKG or like what do they call the machines that like do the heart, the shocking, like clear, that thing? I can't remember.
Defibrillators.
Yeah, the defibrillators. It's like it's a technological device. It's a geode. It's a pumping heart. It's a brain. It keeps shifting in your perception. It's a gem.
Well, that's all crazy.
Yeah. But it is there and floating in front of you. Now what?
Can I send it elsewhere?
Do you have the capacity to send it elsewhere? Do you have some sort of burn thing for
that? Let me just say, don't put it in your pocket the way you did Prism.
Yeah. Well, basically...
Let me just say for the record, Prism is having the weirdest night right now.
Facet?
Sorry, yeah. Facet is having the weirdest night right now. It's somewhere between best date ever and PTSD. So...
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. Possibly both.
So, basically my question with this is, could I do like an unleash your powers basically to open up a portal and just sort of shove it through?
Yes. He said, terrified. Where do you want to put it?
That is a great question, and I don't really know. Not here.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, God. He's going to put it in the sepia-verse.
Don't. Oh. I don't know well, Concord's never really been connected to that. I don't know that would necessarily be...
No.
Where is safety for Adam?
Yeah, that's a good... Oh. There's
Are
probably...
you going to put it in your closet?
No.
Or is it going to be in the Quill compound?
No. Actually, if there's some lingering Saul there...
Oh, put it in the space that Saul once occupied. Let's just do that.
Hey, do you want to go there? Because I'll go there.
Oh, that is a phenomenally bad idea. I love it so much.
Hey, I get to use that line that I told you before.
I don't remember that line, but that's probably just as... I don't know which one you're referring to, but...
If I get back to the fight, trust me, it'll go badly.
I mean, that does move it. I mean, permanently. Actually, it makes it a moving thing. Wow, that's just a phenomenally bad idea, but I love it. So there's a couple different things. You could put it where Saul used to be. You could put it someplace that you feel safe, wherever that would be. And there's probably a couple. I think there's probably a couple answers for that.
Well, the worst answer for that one would be with the concordance.
Yes, because that would take it entirely out of Earth, and you sense that would be bad for Earth.
Okay.
I mean,
let's put it where Saul once was.
Oh, my sweet jumping. That is just I mean,
Tony Stark putting,
no, it's the Vision. I mean, but it's not. It is. It's.
No, I know. I'm just, the Vision with the
Except it's not.
middle of your head, right there.
That's okay. Now instead of the little gold sigil that he had where Saul once was, now it's just going to be a blue light.
No, it's Peter Parker going, hey, hide this thing, and then decided, like, hide this Infinity Gem, and he decides to swallow it. Okay, all right. So I don't know that you have a burn move necessarily for that, but I
do actually.
What is that burn move?
Overcharge.
Okay, what does that do?
You channel the full capacity of your incredible powers to overcome an obstacle, reshape your environment, or extend your senses. Spend 2 burn to take a 10+ when you unleash your powers.
I'm fine with that. I think that is... I don't even think I need to have you take a powerful blow for turning the Keynome into a kegger.
Come later.
I should say keg stand, but okay, yes. You put the Keynome in your chest, basically. Okay. Swell. All right.
No one actually thought about using the sacrificial dagger to cut themselves.
I really thought that at some point you would say, okay, well, moving it's a bad idea. Let me go see what those guys need. No. We've stuck with the moving it thing. Okay.
Hey, Doyce.
Yes?
I will remind you that I had insecure, so I had to take foolhardy action without talking to my team.
By all means, clear insecure. If you might have permanently cleared insecure. I don't know. It's that foolhardy.
Oh.
But yeah, by all means, clear insecure. In case you didn't already, which you certainly should.
I have not.
Okay. Do you have the ability to, with an additional roll or anything, I imagine it would be like unleash your powers to like get back up to the fight?
Well, since that's sort of part of his powers, could he just plop up there?
Yeah.
It's like, do you ask?
There's a.
I mean, if you want me to burn again and use moves,
no, I don't need you
I will do it.
I mean, I don't think I need you to burn again. I was just going to have you do like an unleash your powers. Mostly because, not so much because it isn't, there's just a lot of intervening stuff, and there's a ton of energy signature and stuff out there, and also you have a Keynome in your chest, and maybe haven't adjusted to that power supply at this point. But in the interest of simply saying, yeah, this is so bloody crazy, and we want you up there anyway. Yes, fine. How do you appear over the battlefield?
Ominously.
Is there a big?
Hey Bill, what's Leo doing right at that moment?
Driving over people.
Okay, so in the passenger seat.
You're in Otto right now? I'm just trying to.
No, we're still separated, but that's essentially
he's
Otto's thing, and we're kind of supporting that activity.
Trying to figure out how to make a dent in this thing, because your main thing up to this point in time, what you've been managing to do in like the last minute or so, is simply stop the Queen's forward advance into the building. I
have a plan for these guys, but I want to see what Concord does, and I'm still waiting for actions from Jason and Charlotte too. So
Jason and Charlotte have arrived on the battlefield. They have who you can only assume is Alicia with them, and Summer stepping through as well, in some kind of combat attire, sort of.
We're gonna have a talk with Jason later.
Actually, not his fault.
Yeah, I could have left her behind the Sepia-verse. That would have been much better.
We have a much shorter talk with Jason later in that case. All right, so it sounds like Concord is coming back.
And so. Concord has appeared in the passenger seat of Otto, or are you next to Link?
Yeah, basically right next to Link, because I feel like it's one of those things where it's just like a second ago he wasn't there and now he is.
So it's not flashy. It's more like the way they do teleports in like the Magicians or something. It's just kind of you're there.
Yep.
All right. We need to help Concord. Suddenly Concord is standing there, and is he kind of in that moment of truth appearance? Or
so important things.
Okay.
He would have lost the scarf.
Okay.
Because that's the whole connection to the concordance. And
Okay.
without Saul, I don't see that being a thing.
Okay. Is there more white than in his?
I think that most of his colors have gone white on his chest.
Okay.
Because that
or a little blue.
Why a little
blue is truth, so.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I'm thinking blue because of the stone, but.
Oh, it could be. I don't know that there's that thing is complicated.
Yeah.
What is the color of power? What is the color of possibility?
Yeah. All right. So you appear next to Leo. What do you do? What do you do? Leo, what do you do?
So.
Or Concord, what do you do?
So Concord just sort of has that sort of shell-shocked look on his face, just like, since he just lost Saul here. And it's just like, he looks at Leo, it's just like, okay, I got good news. I moved the Keynome.
Well, Saul gave me the bad news.
No, he didn't. I am the Keynome.
Oh shit. So I love the fact that Link thinks he's gotten the worst news, and then he gets wow. Link,
Grats.
what do you Grats on your level up?
Did I hear correctly that A10 or TK and some other people were like on their back heels, kind of?
They've been kind of like you're hearing them on comms coming back. It's been about 20-25 seconds since this thing all started, and you can hear them kind of shakily on comms like, okay, all right, I'm not down. What do you need? Where do we need to be?
All right, so Jason, Concord, everybody, get a barrier up, rally behind it, get your strength back. We just need to hold them off.
Okay.
I got a plan.
Okay.
All right.
We're with you, Leo.
So, hang on. Harry, they need a rally point on the battlefield. Tell me how you clear that space for them. And then roll defend.
It's a very good question.
What does Super Speedster do?
Punch everyone.
Tornado.
I'm thinking of the big kind of twirl in a circle and drive everybody away thing.
I'm not sure if during Father Son movie night, have you guys ever watched all the Matrix stuff? All three of them? The first one. There's a thing in one of the later ones where he's like fighting with a staff, and he sort of like plants the staff on the ground and sort of runs in a circle like
oh god, yes,
outward, and he like runs on the people that are surrounding him and kicks them all out away from him. I don't know. It just you thought of like you think you were talking about running in a circle and pushing everybody out. It's like treating them all like floor and just running on them instead of on their heads, on their sides, and like kicking them out away from a space.
So you're like the sheepdogs who run on top of the sheeps to move them away.
Something like.
You ever seen them do it? I mean, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. What do you think? You could do that. You could do one of Mom's sort of like air blast kind of things and just kind of spin around and kind of air blast people away and kind of a rally on me kind of thing where you give people some a clear space to form up. What does that look like? Like what's most likely for you?
Probably the probably going to go with the running in circles.
Okay. Just kind of pushing everybody back or knocking them back and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Just wherever you are. All right. Yeah, so there's this moment where Harry kind of pauses and then starts moving. Harry, roll me a defend, please. Savior. Let's see what we got here for a positioning thing.
Finally!
All right.
Woohoo!
And I have rolled crap on it the past 3 times.
Yep. Okay, so you guys, it's like form up, get a barrier kind of thing up, and Harry shouts, "Rally on me!" And by the time you figure out where he's at, he's got a clear spot, formed up where you guys can kind of pull up to, and it's actually, I mean, it's certainly on school grounds, kind of a thing. You still have to worry about all the other potential collateral damage. You get a carrier overhead and all these people around you and stuff, and you guys pull in there. A10 comes in, TK comes in. Alloy actually pulls herself up out of the ground.
Cool.
I don't know if you guys could hear Kaylee from the other room going, "Finally!" People fight their way there or leap their way there or whatever. Harry rolled the defend. How do you guys set up some kind of barrier? What does that look like? I mean, who's taking that on?
Well, I can set up a physical barrier as far as that goes with the bots. If you're talking about an actual, kind of, sandbag barrier, something to, island of resistance kind of a thing.
Oh, that would be fun.
Is it Jason, Concord, and Telekination all putting up like
Ooh.
a little 3-way barrier?
Yeah.
Nice.
Layers
well,
of that.
and I actually have something to add to that to add to the space, which is I'm going to explore my lessons, my experiments from the whole keeping girls away from Jason thing, and just try and create a Wigan area around the spot.
So just an aversion field, kind of a.
I mean, so that I'm not using a ton of energy doing it, but just enough to sort of add to the "you don't want to come here" feel.
I support this because it makes that scene canonical.
Hopefully you would support it because it's a good idea, but yeah, I'll take that.
You take what you can get, and oh yeah, that too, but more because it makes that canonical. Okay, all right, so we've got telekinesis got your sort of basic concentration barrier. I'm pretty sure at one point in time, and you don't need to worry about burn on this since we're just dealing with narrative stuff, but I pretty much remember the Nova version of Concord once upon a time having a barrier kind of
moat,
right? Moat thing. It's a stationary deal. Jason's got the physical, like sort of, he draws the line in the sand that everybody kind of builds off of when he's got like the the barricades and stuff like that. And you guys are rallying within this, Otto rolling up and actually switching into like more of a standing, the humanoid shape. And I was trying to find the animation for Oathbreaker's Shame from Lotro, but I can't find it. It's there's a great animation from Lord of the Rings Online that's like ghosts swirling around a given enemy target. And they scale to the size of the thing that you're doing it to. So when you do it against something big, they are truly terrifying and really awesome looking. But I can't find it, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, you've got the chill of the grave wrapped around the thing, and that kind of stuff, and you have a holding position. There is a flurry of activity with in the area of the Dread Queen and the Vanguard and stuff like that. A10 says something, she's up near the top of this, like the barriers and stuff like that, going, there are like 3 people talking to her at the same time. She's getting some news that she does not, and she's looking this way. Guys, plan?
Well, Link said Link told him he has a plan.
Link, do you have a plan?
Noom's going to look at him questioningly. He's going to be like, I don't have a plan. So now we link up, and Leo's going to spend his moment of truth.
Okay. All right.
Anyone else have anything they want to get done before this?
Anybody else want to do anything awesome?
I can help set up the moment of truth.
What do you have in mind?
Plop you right over there.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think Link's moment of truth is also sort of, it needs everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to take care of this. All right. So we have this big forces behind him. We have a moment of truth in 2 parts. The first part is that Otto, Numa, and Leo will link up again. The outer shell of Otto's armor basically blows itself off. And you've seen his rockets before. You know he's got fuel. He begins venting the fuel, and his electrical system ignites it. Now, you might think this is a bad move, but he's also got magnetic fields that direct the flow of this new charged plasma. What this means is he could fly really fast in any direction, probably a lot faster than anybody else could fly, given the mass that he has. You might be forgiven for mistaking this as an aura of rage surrounding these 3. That's understandable. It's just fuel. So,
but it looks like an aura of rage.
And they are going to take off like a rocket. Whatever these things were that are protecting the Dread Queen are going to get knocked out of the way. There's no stopping. There's no hesitation. It's like, here's a cannonball coming at your face. And there's this little timer operating in the top left-hand side of Leo's HUD before Otto explodes from this, because the refractory temperature of what Otto is made of is lower than the temperature of the fuel. And so we only have so much time we can do this.
Is it the 3-man Ultraman timer? 3-minute.
There's something that's very related, which I can link on the forums at some point, but
it's fine.
It's definitely that idea. He's ejecting spent graphene shells for the stored up energy for all this. We've got a good handle on these guys though. That leaves us with the Dread Queen. So far so good?
So far so good. Now, yeah, they're blasted out of the way. She is impossibly ready for it when you get there, when you reach her.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm counting on that actually. So Otto
love it.
Otto ejects Numa and Leo and transforms back into a car and is basically radiating heat. So he's gonna go back to the shroom. So these 2 are gonna take her on directly, hand to hand, face to face. The good news for anybody watching is that whatever Leo's got going on, he hasn't fought like this before, but he's fighting like it now. He's perfect. Every punch is perfect. Every kick is perfect. Every move that he makes is flawless. And Numa's matching him move for move. The problem is that the Dread Queen is better. She's got more training, more experience, and her moves are as perfect.
I will footnote this to Jason and Alicia if she's listening. What you're seeing in the Dread Queen is where the hyper genius in the field can get you as somebody who's as mumble old as she is. She's you guys turned to some power of 11.
To adult.
Yeah, so it becomes immediately obvious that these two, even fighting in tandem, are not going to be enough. But really, if anybody else comes in this fight, they're probably going to get in the way and get killed as well. So that's the bad news. So, like Leo's punching, he almost connects. He's got like within an inch of her head. He's not able to connect that connection, but he doesn't slow down. And she is striking back, and the Dread Queen is able to hit. And whatever she's got a panoply of weapons, she's got small gadgets, she's got some kind of like force field covering her hands where she can punch with the strength of like 100 men. Something like that, and Doyce can be specific on this.
Yeah.
But we are not gonna punch her into submission. And that becomes immediately obvious.
And you're fairly certain at a couple points that she just somehow cheats. Jason, you're not sure that you see it, except you hear Alicia, and pardon my French, but you hear Alicia next to you go, "The fuck?" Because she does something where she was about to get laid flat for a second, and then she's just not there. You must have misunderstood the kinetics of the direction that she was flowing, because she was actually moving a slightly different angle, and she's not where the fist was. And there's a couple points in there where you see she's fucking cheating somehow.
Is there some way that we can draw on the power of the Keynome here and forestall her possibilities?
Always a good thing.
Well, there might be, but let's see what happens next.
Let's see where it's going. Yeah, we're still a moment of truthing, but yeah. And you guys are not. I'm assuming you guys aren't just sitting there as a. Actually, as soon as Otto's out of the like rocket delivery mode, he shouts like, clear the field, guys, move, like not clear as in run away, but like work the,
right.
Take away
the opening.
Yeah,
I think this is where War Machine comes in. Yeah, it's time for the rock.
Yeah, so you guys are and Otto's relaying stuff like he's we need this, we need that. He's rattling off like a laundry list of like, I know you guys already know this, but I'm going to actually say it because you're busy looking at my dude be awesome over here. So stop looking at my dude be awesome and be awesome.
And I fully expected them to be active during this and just like glance at them from time to time.
Yeah. And it's the second generation hyper geniuses that I'm kind of pointing out a few things there. For other people, it's a little bit like, I mean, Concord's sensing the weird stuff that she's doing, but it's so wound up and everything that it's like trying to undo a skein of yarn that's been all like, done up together, trying to figure out what to do in that. It's plus she's moving. For everybody else, it's a little bit like, I came to Black Panther for the social commentary, and I'm just sort of sitting through the fight scene. Like, they're not seeing the details of what's happening in that part. You know what I mean? So,
okay, guys, take on the people you can. Let's clear things around Leo and Numa and let them get their job done.
And
they're going to keep fighting, but there's something about the Dread Queen that that may change how this fight goes. Okay. She is really good at tactics and strategy. She is like plugged into everybody's comms. She can monitor our activities, our calls. She knows that we put a call to Stingray out. She can monitor, like if we were getting orders from superiors, she would know it. She could read our tactical movements. She could look at us and say, oh, this is where they're carving a path for their strategic retreat, where they'll abandon the school. The problem that she has is that there's not any of that. Like normal fighting tactics don't work for us because we're just a bunch of kids defending the wreck of a high school with good hot dogs, bad football, and a surprisingly well-stocked chemistry lab. And last time it was Harry Gale that saved the city. Leo's fighting her this time. Next time there's going to be another kid, and then another. Nobody ordered them here. Nobody told them, lay down your lives in defense of this place. Just, this is their home, and they're fighting, and they're not backing off. and she's getting hits on Leo, and he's clearly taking hits, but he's not stopping. She sees that these people are staring doom in the face and not giving up. And at that moment,
quick camera shot of Jason. Yeah, quick camera shot of Jason's face. The junior HHL is plowing just haphazardly into the middle of this without even like checking with anybody, because they finally got here and they're just like, I want to tag a couple of these guys for XP. Kind of, they're just barreling in without any kind of whatever. While this, I'm just throwing in a few frames of what's happening while she's having this realization. Go ahead. I don't want to stop you because this is awesome.
No, that was good. So yeah, just all these kids are just here just because this is their home and they don't want to die and they don't want to lose it. And at that moment, Leo's best attack gets through her armor and hits her where she is most vulnerable. And that is that she begins to empathize with us.
I love you guys so much. Okay. All right. So Leo, you're throwing shots. There's actually one of those, a couple of those shots that I love so much from like Avatar, where you see the slow motion of the attack goes like by the person's surprised face of like, wait, how in the heck did that get so close to me? And why are tiny bits of my hair falling to the ground from the close shave? There's a couple of those, and one of your punches comes in, and she catches it. She just stops it full on, and then she blocks Numa's and kind of tosses her back. She kind of catches her shot and manages to get kind of an elbow lock so that her arm is straight, and she uses that to shove her ridiculously hard backwards at the same time that she's stopping your punch. And she looks you straight in the eyes through your visor and nods. And then like does like a palm strike in the middle of your chest and knocks you back about, I don't know, 20, 30 feet. And some sort of signal goes out, and the carrier, all of the lower engines, like the it's hard not to picture the helicarrier, but like the new ones, but all of the lower engines kind of light up like they're powering up beyond like just hold position kind of mode. And the troops all start like a lot of them that were coming down have they were slowing their fall with like rocket boots as they were dropping down, and they fire those. It isn't enough juice to get back up to the carriers, but they fire those to get above the fray. And then as they get high enough, then they fire like grapnel guns, to up at the carrier to get themselves off. And Telekinesian and A10 are like, are we letting these guys go? Are we hitting these guys? What are we doing? They're getting. Are they getting away, or are we getting away? What's going on?
This is your show, Leo.
Leo's incautious.
Hey, it's funny because you look for Leo and you see him like laying on the ground, and there's kind of like steam coming off of his chest plate. No blood, but he's definitely like Summer's running that way. One of her arms is kind of hanging down like a dislocated shoulder kind of position, sort of thing. Like his vitals are still, he's okay. He's just not awake.
Well, he held nothing back for this fight. There was no beat the Dread Queen and then we do something else. It was like hold her for as long as we can.
Hold your ground. Take care of any stragglers.
Oh, so there is one thing that I want to do.
Yes.
Secure the high school.
Charlotte. Yes.
So since it looks like these guys have what they want to do under control, I'm going to look to see if there's somebody that looks a little bit higher ranking than the others that's still within easy distance.
you see one of the guys that's wearing the uniform that you associate with the scientists.
Great.
So
I'm going to possess him.
I don't know about higher ranking, but certainly more knowledgeable about stuff. Is one of the ones that was relatively near her, and was giving her like sort of frantic updates right before the big stuff happened. You're going to possess him.
Yep.
Okay. What is that? Because I've been associating possess with giving weird powers to inanimate objects. So
you can use this object as a focus to do something impossible.
Okay. All right.
So
if this were a Starfire person, I would not be doing this. But since it's a ghost, it only makes sense that you can do something. So what impossible thing are you aiming to do? Because that's going to happen regardless of how the roll goes.
I'm going to make him surrender.
Okay. All right. Give me your unleash.
Doing something really awful, but just
that's fine. Yeah. Give me an unleash your powers roll.
It's just a freak roll.
Oh, is it a freak roll? Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a freak roll. Did you all right. I just saw James comment. The curtain dropped on Leo's show. It literally dropped on top of him, right on top of him. Oh, really? All right. So I need to let me look at that ability because I know it happens. We're not going to swap you because that's been done. It's like, come on, the writers need to come up with something better than that. Can't just do the same thing over and over again. Freak. When you touch it, take an XP. When you touch a mortal object in power, roll freak. On a hit, you can use this because we don't actually. Oh, well, okay. I will say before we get into this any further, I should have done this ahead of time, but it doesn't really. So we can probably do this at this point if we need to. I know we're going to get enough points for it. I don't know if we can get enough. I mean, that was what was that, a 4? Theoretically, we'd have to team it up. But anyway, on a hit, there's probably enough. The 4 is gone, but we can probably get back up far enough up to be able to push her back up to a 7 if we want to. I think there's probably enough team because we start out with 2 and we at least get another 1 or 2. So it's a round, and if we need it, we can do it. On a hit, you can use this object as a focus to do something impossible. You roll 10, choose 1. It works exceptionally well. You get an initial use of it. On a miss, the focus is effective, but it has a completely unintended side effect that the GM will reveal when you use it. Before
I can think of 2 or 3.
Yeah, before I burn brain cycles on figuring out what the thing is, let's figure out if we're actually going to leave it as a 4 or try to push it up to a success. What say you, people?
Nicole, I'm willing to take my lumps if that makes more story sense.
We need 3 people that would be able to help, and certainly Concord would be able to sense that something crazy is happening here and dip in on that. Jason, having just interfaced with you on this thing, would probably be able to pick up on some of that too and lend some sort of support. Or, a nanite like
it's stuck on my shirt.
Like a nanite, like shot into the side of the guy's neck, or I don't know.
At least a physical restraint on him.
Yeah, something like that. Enter battle against team. Add 2 team. Leader has influence over every. Link, do you have influence over every teammate?
Who the hell do you think I am?
Do you have influence over every single super on the field?
Hey, Space Dad!
Hey, Space Dad. So there's 3, same purpose in the fight. I'm going to say yes, and that's a 4, and that's 4 back into the. I don't even need to move the thing. There's still 4. There's still 4 in the pool. Concord could help. Jason could help, and I mean, it kind of depends on what we're looking at here, but certainly, I mean, if we're talking about the surrender thing, like, and if Charlotte calls out, like, really anybody can narrate in ways that they could help. But it's kind of up to you guys.
I want Alicia to come in on this. I want to see what her attitude towards prisoners are.
I can absolutely bring Alicia in on this to get you the other team point that you need. I am happy to do that.
Is it one of those things where she just points a gun straight at the guy's face and that little bit of fear just breaks his willpower?
Or comes up behind him, applies a chokehold so that he's beginning to lose consciousness and therefore his will to resist.
I was just gonna have him like look between you, look over to Jason, look up at Concord, look at this guy who's struggling and like activating like these countermeasures in his stuff, and he's like, oh, for the love of, and just shoots the guy in the kneecap. You know, kind of more of a.
It's not quite reform, Alicia.
She, you know, direct measures.
It's like the Terminator. He'll live.
He's gonna live. What? He will live. It's like, oh, come on. If you guys want to do that, I'm totally fine with that. It's going to be, as we, I got to go back to the move now because I'm jumping all over the place. On a hit, you can use the object as a focus to do something impossible. For a 10, choose one that works exceptionally well. You get an additional use out of it. So it'll be pretty straightforward. He will surrender, and he will be cooperative, as opposed to all of the guys that were basically chewing off their own tongue that you got from the first batch that you captured from the cemetery. This guy will be pliable.
And depending upon how much you want to screw with me, I have 3 options for what may have happened to me.
Well, it depends on whether or not we leave it as the 4. I mean, let's be blunt. Do you want the potential and the also downside, or do you want to like?
Well,
have this guy.
I thought less than a 10.
A 10 is okay. So let's go back to the last time you used this thing really notably. A 10 was you were going to use the thing to like clear away this big barrier thing around on the cemetery.
Got it. So the miss is that it happened, it works, but it's got the side effect. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So you've got some side effect kind of thing. A 10 is it works, and it works like ridiculously, unprecedentedly, like truly impossibly well. Like that's where the impossible is really happening. A 7 to 9 kind of result is like, no, it works. It works. You get a thing that you want, but you're not like.
So I think we can make it. I'd still like to take sort of a minor consequence to just add story to it.
That's fine.
So,
you can take if you want to take a consequence from it, that's fine because.
Well, Charlotte can only speak Vertovian for a week, or I mean, so something that's not necessarily.
I was
a condition, but just as sort of a fun.
I was thinking guilty from the help I needed was Alicia literally kneecapping this guy. Feeling a little bit bad that you needed to go that far into the pool for the assistance, and actually taking a guilty thing. But I do like the idea of you like. I'm parsing your sentence the way you meant it, which was you literally can only speak Vertovian for a week. Not I can speak Vertovian, but only for a week.
Yeah, or I become more substantial or insubstantial for a period of time.
And if it's not full Vertovian, you can always speak with a husky male Russian accent for the whole week.
I know. I think so. Because we all have to say Vertovian. Daddy, where's Vertovia?
I think let's go with the team pool, because that
okay.
I think that's probably good. And there may be a few minor things having linked to this guy, also being like reaching into his mind as he gets kneecapped. Not the most pleasant experience that you've ever had in your life. Certainly not the most unpleasant.
Having been dead already.
And not really having knees anymore.
Okay, so they're kind of getting out of here. The Vertovians are exiting. You guys have got this guy collared down.
We're applying medical attention to anybody who needs it.
Yeah. And
check out anybody in the surrounding buildings that might have been hurt.
Harry, you there? I'm making sure you're there first.
Yep.
While this all craziness is happening and you're getting some reports in, nasty fight at the Viatovia, but and they've kind of, between the league and these guys, there's a lot of unconfirmed reports what's going on there. Nobody seems to be reporting anything on, or at least not nationally, on the carrier that appeared over the damn city. So that's neither here nor there. While everybody else is kind of cleaning up, trying to get a handle on this, this dark-haired girl that you vaguely remember walks up to you. It's like, hey, Mercury, right? We met a couple weeks ago under unpleasant circumstances. Sorry about that. Unexpected stuff.
Um.
Little lightning. There was that girl with the headphones on. You disappeared. It's really, again, kind of sorry about that.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could do, like, I guess it's not really a favor or anything like that. Could you? I mean, you're the Gale kid, right? Like, you've got all the connections and stuff. Could you call Aegis and tell him I need to talk?
Ooh, positive.
I have the comedy option for you here, Doyce.
Yeah, what's that?
So Agent Waters can show up at this point. Otto's still playing his playlist, and Breaking the Law is playing, and Newman's like, no, cut it. Because Leo's still on probation.
Breaking the law. I don't think the kids had ever heard that one before. You haven't lived. I almost wish I'd gotten video of it, but I was driving at the time. But I played through that entire playlist on the drive down to Colorado Springs, and the 4-year-old in the back never stopped head nodding to the entire, like, all the way.
Then I've done my job.
Yeah, she is. She discovered that there's a guy who does covers of various songs, and then he did a cover of Frozen, like a metal cover of Frozen. It is now on the required driving to preschool playlist every morning. So.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Let it go. And yeah, they're in the loves it. Anyway, yeah, it's good stuff. Anyway, okay. Yeah, and Aegis has gotten wind of this, or at least the local thing is. So there's some people inbound, but yeah, she's just tell him you have Alicia Chin in custody and you need to remand them to their something or other. You should probably hold these, and she hands you a couple of guns.
Don't a couple more guns.
Yeah.
some throwing knives.
A bandolier.
Like
These tiny little grenades that seem to be blinking. A glove. Anyway.
There's the weapons check from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome where he's just laying stuff out. It's that.
Chunk. She found. It's easier if I just take my coat off. Hang on.
Or what's his name in Sinbad?
Just get it.
But I just got everything out.
Just get him here before Jason figures out what's going on. He might do something stupid. All right.
Jason's busy checking on wounded people and,
right.
and nearby apartments, and is the high school intact? What's going on with the Corpus guys, by the way? Not that Jason knows anything about them because he wasn't here.
And most of this Corpus construction signs are kind of like on fire right now. Well, the building looks like Somalia right now, so it's not in good shape. They're probably holed up inside of there, but they're not gonna, You know, they're not gonna. You know, this isn't. They're not gonna complicate matters at this point by coming out and going, you people are all trespassing. That's just, they're not idiots.
They're in the classrooms underneath desks and they're ducking cover.
No, they're probably barricaded in there at some point, but you know, at this point in time, they're basically just, they're probably already in communication with Aegis to let them know what happened. Honestly, Rook, because of course it's Rook. You know, Rook in general is really good at establishing the narrative as fast as they can to make sure that they're not painted as the bad guys. So all their bona fides about they were supposed to be here doing construction, this was all defensive efforts. You know, we mentioned that we were going to have these bots on site, blah blah blah. All that stuff is being asserted, and if necessary, paperwork filed to make it true retroactively if necessary. So all that stuff's kind of happening in the background. Concord, what are you doing while all this is going on?
Well, that is a great question, because I do have the hole in that story.
The hole in the what?
Yeah, the hole in that story. Her name's Facet.
Yeah, possibly.
However,
she's got some issues, but yeah. You know, yeah, that's a rabbit hole to go down to when we have a lot more time in this session.
So
Rook's all about deniable resources, but yeah.
Just as a quick little, just as a quick little check over, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Ghost Girl has her scientist.
Yes. Leo is
down.
He is, yes. He's resting. He's resting, and he's probably not unconscious, or if he is, he's, you know, showing no signs of suddenly developing a coma or anything like that. But he's definitely done at the moment.
All right. So
he's being seen to by 4 very, very urgent, very, very concerned people at this time. So
Adam is going to plop down over by Harry,
who's currently weirdly holding a couple of pistols kind of backwards and by the handles, and
is like, "Hey Harry, you're watching people while Aegis shows up, right?"
Waiting for Harry.
Harry? You're on mute still.
Yeah, I got that.
And he's like,
yeah,
okay,
I guess.
Eric, can you watch after her? Her name's Fess, and she's really nice, and she's just trying to do things, but she went about it all the wrong way. So Adam will plop her out.
Like he pulls out what looks like sort of a pink snow globe and sort of like undoes it or expands it, and then there's a rather beat up looking Facet like standing there looking around like, where is this the same school? Holy crap. And then
Alicia, I can imagine Alicia throwing up her hands and saying, "Great, I make a drag gesture and everyone wants to get in on the act."
But as soon as that's over, Adam's going to plop away to elsewhere.
Plop away to elsewhere? Okay.
Yes.
All right. We will.
Because I totally need to get rid of that. Oh wait, did I have Hopeless?
I don't know if you
didn't have Hopeless.
You didn't have Hopeless.
Nope.
Just have 4.
Everything else.
3 other conditions. 3? Is it 3 or 4 right now?
Nope.
All right.
This cleanup is going to be difficult, and he is leaving.
All right. So Concord vacates. So yeah, everything kind of, yeah, we're gonna have to. Well, the group will come back.
There are a bunch of hard questions for him to answer right now, like why are you the Keynome?
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to answer any of those.
Yeah, and some people aren't going to realize necessarily what that question needs to be asked just yet. So there's also that. Okay. Well, I hope with every possible ounce of sincerity that the last couple of sessions have been satisfying for everybody, because there's some craziness there, and there's also going to be some craziness coming up because, hey, you have a pliable Vyortovian here too. I'm going to drop a couple of footnotes real quick just so that we know where things are at. One of those is the fight on the on the mountain over in Vyortovia was pretty bad. A couple of the Legion are being brought back by other members of, or sorry, Legion, the League, are being brought back by other members of the League. There's some, when the news comes out the next morning, one of them is that Silver Streak is currently in sort of superhero ICU under careful watch. He apparently stopped some major plot kind of thing, very heroic, blah blah blah, and unfortunately was, ended up exposing himself to heavy resistance from the other group that ended up putting him kind of, let's put him in the hospital. Why won't that? Oh, looking at the wrong thing. And crap, there was another thing I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was.
Jason's got a pending thing to take care of his issues with Leo. I don't know when or how you want to handle that.
Well, I mean, certainly not right now, but that's...
No, not right now, but like just like next session, media forums soon or whatever. Like if he's got 3 or 4 points of doom left, like I personally would like to get this knocked out, but it's still at Dave's space.
Yeah, well, that's definitely coming. I just wanted to drop a few other things. Crap, I thought of something else, and I'm not going to be able to remember what it was. The only other thing is a very, very brief cutscene of some glowing, faceless energy signature type entities converging in the... Actually, I actually have an image for this. It's perfect. Well, for some value of perfect, if I can find it. There we go. So the last couple panels of the comic are this like kind of frame with like text box over it, with like text boxes over it saying, concordance alert, operative Sol Gamma 2 has been eliminated. Activate new concordance agent for that region and prepare them for highly dangerous environment. Something like that. I had it written out better, but I can't find the damn file. So, because I'm having hard drive sync issues. Anyway, so that's our last little bit there. All right. So, yeah, I think that's everything right now. Dave, I'm sorry, Jason. Closer to the team, farther away from the team, or more into your image of yourself?
I'm closer to the team, and I'm going to give influence to Leo because, damn, he rock sword there and really rallied the team and the greater team together to make this all happen.
Yes. Oh, I do remember the other thing that will come out. I will get to that in just a second. Okay, so influence to Leo. Mercury. What? I missed something. Clearly, I missed something.
Those are some good labels to shift.
That's a good label to shift. Plus Alicia. Minus Summer.
Minus Summer.
That's great. That is so good. All right. Mercury, closer to the team, farther away from the team, or more into the image of yourself? Are you the Keynome?
I think to the Saul, but
You're cutting in and out.
I think it was growing closer to Saul.
there
Here.
is no Saul.
There was only Zool. Oh, that's a bad reference for this scene.
The image of self.
All right. That was certainly, and honestly, if anybody feels as though Saul's message was a comfort or support kind of a situation, I'll be happy to roll that on, or have Adam roll that on Saul's behalf, even if actually especially if his mundane is low, because Saul certainly is.
Oddly enough, I'm in the best place to roll that right now.
Say that again.
I'm in the best place to roll that at the moment.
Are you? Okay. Well, we may need to do that if you guys read through those messages. And actually, I'd like to, if we have a moment at the end here, we'll do that. But okay, so more into your image of yourself. Shift your labels as you see accordingly. Ghost Girl.
I would say that it's hard separating the two sessions out.
Yeah. No, I understand.
I would say closer to the team, because this is like
you finally came
the
back
first time in a
with the
while
team.
that we've actually come together and fought as a team. And so I'm gonna give influence to
Tough, isn't it?
I know. Actually, I'm gonna give influence to Concord.
It can be an NPC if you're so inclined.
Giving it to Alicia.
You're not giving it to Alicia? That's fair.
No, to just cap the guy. This is not something growing close to.
Just totally got your back, or possibly somebody else's front.
Yeah.
Or maybe from the side. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. Concord. I don't see how you can do anything but grow more into your own image of yourself.
Actually, no.
Really? All right.
Growing further away from the team.
Okay, that's fair. Who's losing influence?
Link. He's the one who gave him the order that made him lose Saul.
That's legit.
Casting.
Yeah, I like it.
Casting blame indiscriminately. You are finally a teenager.
Yep. I'm not saying it's a good reason.
No.
Or even a valid one, but it's definitely like good story.
Yeah. It's the right choice.
It is the right choice. I like it. And finally, Link.
I'm gonna say grew to the image of myself.
You think? I fully support that. That was, and I will say, full disclosure, Bill and I went back and forth very carefully about, because I knew and I wanted a moment of truth, but at the same time, you've got the Dread Queen, who is ridiculous and nigh unassailable. So how do you get the result that you want out of this? Over the course of the night, the DEF CON is stepped back because Viratovia fades out. It's just not on the map. And something crazy there, because it's not like oceans rush back into that space or anything like that. It's just simply not there. It's like partial. It's giving fuzzy radar pings for like 3 or 4 passes, and then it's just not there again. The next morning, the news stations are awash with news of what happened, and in the midst of that, there is a public communication, a release, a statement made by the Viratovians. It's broadcast out, just broadbeam across, a wide range of various channels and picked up everywhere. It's not the Dread Queen giving the thing, but she is in frame as one of her adjutants, like goes up and speaks at a podium while they're being filmed, and says, Viertovia is newly come to this world. We do not intend specific or egregious harm to this world, and we are willing to discuss the current situation with appropriate authorities for this world to determine an acceptable path forward for our sovereign nation. At any point in time that the governments of the world are willing and ready and feel themselves capable of conversing as equals with the sovereign nation of Viertovia, they are welcome to do so. We will accept this I want to find the right word that I'm looking for here. We will accept this negotiation provided only that the emissary in question be the members of the Halcyon organization known as the, squints at the paper, menagerie. And then this, yeah.
Holy shit! Are we gonna have to wear suits?
Well, it depends on which suit you mean.
Do you have a suit?
No.
Like most senior boys in high school who are emancipated minors. No.
I'm not. I haven't gone to prom yet. I don't. I even have a rental
suit. I don't know if I have a tie. Yeah, you have a tie and like a sports jacket from like the court hearings for minor emancipation. That was the other thing I had to make sure I remembered to say. The other thing I wanted to share real quick was because at the time in the comic, what you saw was the Concord like person appearing in front of somebody, and the first beginning of the speech, and then the rest of it like kind of you don't get to hear it, and then we get to hear it at the end of the you get to read it at the end of the comic. So in order to preserve Agent Amari, I must undergo 100% merge. This will be my only opportunity to speak with you. It's like it's like the last episode of MASH where you finally get to read the letters that they wrote each other or whatever. This will be my only opportunity to speak with you, my teammates. To Quill, the message was, your commitment to doing right for the world and those you care about is admirable. Your own self-doubt is your worst and possibly only enemy. When you see your friends standing with you, act. They are the clearest reflection of your best self. To Charlotte, what he said was, your powers are strange and alien to this strange alien, but the truth is in you. The truth in you, your true self, is like a comforting memory of my home. Please, when you can, be that place of comfort for Adam when he once more finds himself among lonely stars. Link, I think, got it next. You were to Link. He said, "You were what I could not be during our early days when Agent Amari, Adam, took on our mantle. I leave this existence behind with peace at my core, knowing that you will still be here for him and for all of them." And finally, to Harry, our time working in unison was brief, fraught with stressors and challenges, but I grew from it, and I hope only that you did as well. You are and will be known to the Concordance, Agent Gale, as a hero, an ally, and a friend. Never doubt that, or yourself. Which, of course, means when the next Concordance agent shows up, they're going to try and kill him first. No, I'm kidding.
Or last. We might all just hide behind Harry. He's your friend.
Yeah, and that's going to be how that'll be how the comic closes out with a moment of silence for Saul, who did something very, 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 very bad as far as the Concordance is concerned.
Well, there's a night sky and there's a shooting star, and that's that.
Yeah, all that kind of good stuff. All right. Again, I hope sincerely that red 4s and red 5s and red 3s, notwithstanding, get a satisfying little tie up there, and a whole bunch of craziness still coming, but at least you guys get to leave this smoking critter. So, yikes, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, hey, Doyce.
Yes, sir.
At some point, I need to talk to you about which moves I get to keep.
Okay. Yes, we'll have to. Oh, yeah, we'll have to.
There's specific guidelines in the book for that, by the way. That's been discussed on the Google Plus community for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird though, because in the book it's like, you know, it all you keep moves depending on your exact circumstances of your switch.
We'll figure it out. It's you know, there may be something with your family that is worth keeping, or something that is worth keeping because it's more about you interacting with your family. And if it's uncomfortable enough, I definitely want you to keep it. I will point out that on the in the actual playbook thing, if you uncheck the little checkbox next to playbook, you can.
Oh, I already did all that.
Oh, you did all the. Okay, cool. I didn't know if you could check
button
multiple
for
ones.
bird.
Right. Okay, cool.
So, so Joyce, for the Bill brought up a little bit earlier, for the stuff that kind of Jason needs to resolve around the stuff that Jason needs to resolve. Do you want to do that in game, or do you want to do it in parallel, or in forum, or do you have a preference?
I think that that's a big enough deal that we should do that in game. We can certainly lay the groundwork for it, but I really feel like that scene should be in game.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly could, but I think that's probably, you know. Plus, when the dice go horribly sideways, it's always fun when everyone's there to point and laugh, as opposed to. Yeah. Exactly.
I got pizza here. I gotta go. Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah, like. All right. All right, guys. Thanks very much. So much fun. Hopefully, as fun for you guys as it was for me. And we will do this all again in what seems like far too long of only a week, but we're just gonna have to wait. All right.
Yep.
And with that,
sounds good.
Good night.
Thank you, folks.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.